Hello and welcome to Organic Edible Garden. With the moon in the last quarter and it being autumn, it's now time to get harvesting. We've harvested our pumpkins and we're going to look how to treat them and store them for winter use. Also, we're going to dig up some of our kumara, which we planted about 5 months ago. They take about 3 times longer than our potato crop. One of the most important things when harvesting your pumpkins is making sure it's got a good strong stem attached to it. If the stem is removed, that's the first place the rot will start. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to get some baking soda, at least a good handful in a bucket of water, and we're going to dip our pumpkins in that baking soda. This will alkalise the pumpkins and stop them from getting an infection and rotting. Just a quick dip in the solution and making sure the stem is also covered. To be able to store these pumpkins for a long time, I want to bake their skins. And I'm going to do this by sticking them on the roof of an aluminium shed we've got here. It's north facing and it's sloping, so it means they won't be sitting in water. It's important they're not sitting on the soil at this time, and also that they're not touching. Another tip is, if you're going to store them on something like straw or some wood shavings or something that they don't touch a hard surface and they're certainly not touching each other. This way they'll store for a longer time. With things like your buttercups and other types of squash, you probably get 3 to 4 months out of them. With my Kumara crowns, my iron barks or my butternuts, I can probably get 8 to 9 months before they spoil. Now that the weather's cooler, I'm ready to harvest the first of my kumara. I'm going to leave the other bed until later to size up, but I'm ready to eat the first lot now. Now these are tapatini, so they don't spread like other kumara, and it's easy to dig them up. I'm going to have a fork rather than a spade in case I slice through any. The first thing I'm going to do is remove the green tops. Any kumara that's worth saving, I'm just going to throw in the soil. We're going to keep some of our best kumara and we'll store them well, because from one kumara you get about 50 or 60 new plants for the next season. And remember, because there's no anti-sprouting powder on these guys, when you cook them you can eat them skin and all. If I were going to store these kumara, I'd probably leave them out on the bed for a couple of days to bake. Unlike potatoes, they don't mind the sunlight on their skins. It hardens them up and prepares them for storage. However, these guys I'm going to eat fresh over the next couple of weeks, so I can just take them now and store them in the house. I think kumara are a really easy and rewarding crop to grow. You remember how easy it was for us to produce the plants. They don't get the pest and disease like other plants do. And look what they produce, an abundant crop of highly nutritious kumara. Remember, kumara are also much lower in GI than potatoes, and these guys have been around our area for over 600 years, so they're also feeding my soul as well as my body. Another crop we're harvesting at this time of year are our Borlotti, or any shell-out beans. You can see the beans are now forming inside. Even though we're not going to shell them out, we're going to let these dry first before we shell them out. The beans are at a size now that they're going to be useful for winter storage. And unlike green beans, Borlotti beans have to be eaten dried. So to do this, what we'll do is we'll spread newspaper in an area that can get a bit of air movement, and we'll lay the beans on that piece of paper for about a month. They'll get dry and then we can shell them out and store them. But before storing them, we put them in a plastic bag and we stick them in the freezer for at least 3 to 5 days. This will kill off any bean weevil that is in the bean. And Borlotti beans are great during winter for your soups, your stews, or you can even make your own baked beans. And if you're like us and planted leeks about a month ago, it's time to hill them up now. We've already done the first lot of this, and as they grow, we'll continue to hill it up from the centre mound, and this will give us nice long white stalks.